Hello everybody, this is Sensei Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Fallout London. Well, the canny of you may have realized, based on the map here, that we are in Camden rather than exploring southwest London like I said we were probably going to do, but I decided it might be time for us to go turn in this quest to Audra. I think that's how you say her name. But two things we need to do first, because I discovered two things you can do, actually three things, but the third one's a bit tricky, that will get Arthur's approval. Now the first one,
How can I help you?
is a bit of an endurance test for us, because I thought I had asked him this earlier when we first met him, and apparently we didn't because we get points for doing this, but we can ask him about his family history and let him yammer on for about 4 minutes about it.
My God. I am so glad you asked. Well, settle in, for I shall now tell you the most fascinating story in history.
It isn't.
Now our story begins in the Dark Ages, as most great British stories do, when the Mountbattens were nothing more than a peculiar little clan of blacksmiths, specializing in the fascinatingly specific art of horse mounts. Yes, indeed. Back then, you could dedicate your entire life to a single type of work and never really face any kind of pushback from your loved ones. But I digress. Now, the Mountbattens managed to eke out an admirable life, as admirable as peasants could be in those times, and that is why they were picked to assist in a war of... well, I can't exactly recall the date, but it was one of those important wars, the kind that gets etched into history books. Well, my ancestors, who I believe were descendants of crafty little Frenchmen, they designed the horse mounts for the richest man in their particular side of this little island of ours. Of course, they did a rather poor job, which is why they were forced to go into hiding, followed by a hasty name change to the clan name we have today, the Mountbattens. Not exactly the perfect plan, because the word mount is right there. Oh, but those people spent their days frolicking around in the mud, so we can't exactly blame them for not being so forward-thinking now, can we? Well, skip ahead a few centuries, and the Mountbattens have evolved from lowly craftsmen to beloved artisans. That is to say, they made art out of metal, not that they were artists. God knows my family would not approve of anyone going into the arts. The only difference between a beggar and an artist is that a beggar doesn't make you pay to watch him panhandle. Anyway, it wasn't long before the Mountbattens realized that metalwork would soon become a rather unstable source of employment, and that's when they made the switch into more acceptable lines of work. Farmers, miners, housewives, rail workers, the sort. Skip a few hundred years of simple living and you get to the modern age. Ah, yes. Did you know my great-great-grandfather was supposed to die in one of the first great wars? At least, I think it was my great-great-grandfather. I can't recall. Well, they pegged his chance of survival at 5%, said he was meant to rot in the bottom of the trench. But the old bastard made it through. We don't really know how. That's the thing about us Mountbatten men. We have a way for surviving despite the odds being ever against our favor. I suppose that explains me. Our surprising survival rates meant that we had a head start when it came to reoccupying the workforce. And that is how you get to yours truly. Isn't that just amazing?
I'm still waiting for that most fascinating story in history.
I know. I'm flabbergasted as well. And it's my personal history.
But we do get a point with him for that.
Very good.
Another thing that meets with his approval is, curiously enough, drinking. Drinking alcoholic beverages specifically. Although he did not see us do it that time.
Now comes the part in which you ask me for something, right? Don't you get tired of all this walking about?
Just a bit. And something weird was happening with that guy's head just then. I'm not sure if that little housing icon is something I can get to or not, but I thought for sure this was the westmost part of Camden. But we can try and figure that out later. Right now, we do have one quest to turn in, which is why we are in Camden.
Good to see you again, comrade.
To say, I don't recall if I ever went into this store. And I do have a reason for checking this out other than general exploration. That one does not work, unfortunately.
Step right up. Take a look. Take a look.
Cure all addictions. Well, that could come in handy given what I'm about to try doing. And because I can never have too many, let's throw a stim pack in there too.
See you later.
But yeah, something else you can do to get Arthur's approval is you can steal things. The trick is doing it without getting caught and, you know, doing it in some place where there's actually items that can be stolen.
I'd just leave that rubbish behind if I were you.
Well, that worked. Anyway, this quest we need to turn in, you may have completely forgotten about this, I certainly did for a while. The quest to retrieve the sheet music for the band that is trying to get a gig going here. With the unfortunately now feral music shopkeepers. And we got a number of load time, but we're going to have a couple of funny things here that'll make it worth it. Not involving the quest, but involving dragging Arthur into this wretched hive of gentry-hating anarchists. Because, unsurprisingly, being a proper gentleman, this sort of thing does not appeal to Arthur. It does not hurt our reputation with him at all.
Oh, will you shut up? Not you, them.
And yeah, I don't recall seeing the dancing Atkins robots up there before. Here's another funny one. Arthur goes right for the soda machine. And it doesn't work. Anyway, we'll...
Now it's too early, and I'm too hungover to talk about
Hey, did you manage to get those music sheets?
I got the sheet music, but bad news. Pat and Colin went feral.
You went commuting? God, that's terrible. No one knew. I'll get the word out. It may not be under the best circumstances, but you really helped us out. Thank you. Me and the band can finally get to work. Come by in a few days, and you might even catch us practicing it.
Okay, so come back in 3 days. Well, he did like me drinking that whiskey. And probably not going to ask why that guy appears to be drinking bleach. Anyway, that's all we can do here for the moment.
Can't wait for today to be over. Knackered.
Now, waiting 3 days to watch the band perform may not seem like the most exciting prospect, which is why I intend to vary it up with a little bit of resting and drinking. Because I do have a nice fancy apartment here, even though I think I've only visited it twice since we earned it. And there are more than a few places to go and buy ourselves a drink around here.
Yeah, I was skeptical at first, but the polycule might be the way to go. We seem to get on
Will
better
it be?
as we see each
Take a look.
I'm just going to take one of everything.
Enjoy.
Oi, mate, watch where you're going. Come on.
Let's see, just make sure. Yeah, that's right, it's the coffee house. Because it has separate entrance, but yeah, did I mention that it's been about 2 months since I played this and a while since I came back here? Yep, my apartment is actually in the coffee house rather than over the coffee house. The whiskey has worn off. And I'm now addicted to alcohol.
God, I miss drinking. Now it just goes right through me. I suppose you could call that a joke. I didn't know there'd be so much walking in our journeys. If there's one thing I've gained from all my long, long years, it's a healthy appreciation of silence. My thoughts, whatever they are, will show themselves through my actions. And right now, I'm wondering if there's a purpose behind all of our walking to and fro. Very good. I'm ready to help, but I will ask for something in return. Indeed.
Maybe I can only get this to work every couple of hours, and it's not until the drink wears off. Okay, the craft beer was not to his liking. He did like the gin, though. Begging your pardon, lad, but are we going to be sitting here drinking and letting you sleep all time? Yes, yes, we are.
You seem like you were born for the wastes. I presume you're thinking what I'm thinking? If there's one thing I've gained from all my long, long years, it's a healthy appreciation of silence. My thoughts, whatever they are, will show themselves through my actions. And right now, I'm secretly wishing we could just move onto a different subject. Let's get a move on then.
Okay, cider didn't do it. Iron brew did not do it. He likes the whiskey though. Okay, so apparently I need to stick with hard liquor.
How can I help you? If there's one thing I've gained from all my long, long years, it's a healthy appreciation of silence. My thoughts, whatever they are, will show themselves through my actions. And right now, I don't know you well enough to act.
After all this time.
Indeed.
Well, he likes the strawberry and blueberry daiquiri, though.
Do you know how much you confuse me?
Why do I confuse you?
You stumbled onto a ghoul hanging off a sign, pleading for help, and you actually helped him. That sort of gratitude isn't exactly commonplace in today's society, especially for a complete stranger. That's the source of my confusion. Why did you do it?
Bloody mess. Honestly, I want to see if you explode when you hit the ground. It was the right thing to do.
Is that it? Oh. Forgive me for being shocked that someone would be so straightforward. Still, that doesn't solve my confusion. You don't really know me, my past. I might be a monster. On the inside, that is. Let me rectify that, please.
Go ahead.
I was born before the bombs fell. My father and mother were middle class, a worker and a housewife. Unexceptional. I was doomed to follow in their footsteps until I chose to go to university. And after that, I joined the government as a data entry clerk at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. It's part of the reason why I survived. I was working late at the office when it all happened. Had I gone home, I'd have certainly been reduced to ash. And that's it. That's Arthur Mountbatten. Now, we're no longer strangers. All is right within the world.
Thought you were a tax man.
Huh? Did you say something? Let's change the subject.
No family, no kids?
None at all. Just work acquaintances. And even then, those are quite slim, what with my extended lifespan. It's all good. Didn't have time for them anyway.
Did your parents die in the war?
No, they did... I think not. No, I know not. They did not. They did not die after the bombs fell. They died before.
Thanks for telling me your story.
Of course. Thank you for listening. But don't make a huge fuss out of it. I don't have time for that.
Well, took some heavy boozing, but we finally did get him to open up a little bit. Yeah, the bottled stuff does not seem to amuse him. It's hard liquor or nothing. Then we got one more day before we can go check the band out. Okay, there we go. Check in on Audra. And boom. No more alcoholism. My days of wine and roses are over, for the moment at least. Okay, we got that doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. I think we're about to load. Okay, we're getting ambient noise again. You know what? We're coming up on the half-hour mark, so I think we'll go ahead and stop here. And next time, for episode 150, we will open up with the band playing, and then go off to do one more side quest that we put off for too long. But thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you are so inclined. And we'll continue the adventure from here next time. Take care until then.